Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about season 3 of Bridgerton. So, season 3 had a lot of mixed reactions. Some of them were positive and some of them were negative. And personally, my reaction was mostly negative. I don't want to compare too much to season 1 and season 2 because I saw season 1 a long time ago when the show first came out and I haven't rewatched it since. But I remember liking it. And then season 2, I watched it most recently because I heard that season 3 was coming out. So I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to catch up. Now, season 2, I think that was personally, I think that was the best season. If I had to rank it, I would go season 2, season 1, and then season 3. But I enjoyed season 2 so much because I feel like the build up to Kate and Anthony's relationship was perfect, and it wasn't too rushed, and it wasn't too slow either. But season 3, Colin and Penelope's relationship, I feel like it was way too rushed. And I think the reason for that is because there wasn't enough focus on their relationship to begin with. Because in season 3, we had to sit there and watch Benedict hook up with this random lady. I can't remember the character's name. I'll put it on the screen. But y'all know who I'm talking about. We had to watch him hook up with this random lady and then figure out his sexuality with the lady's friend or whatever. I'm so happy for Benedict. I'm so happy that he's figured out his sexuality or whatever, and he's starting to know more about himself, but I don't really care right now. Let Benedict have his own season, because in season 3, I want to get to know Penelope more, and I want to get to know Colin more, and I want to see their budding romance. And because that's what it's supposed to be, because each season is supposed to focus on a particular two characters' relationships or whatever. So yeah, season 3 was supposed to be only about Colin and Penelope, but instead it was about Colin and Penelope, Benedict and that random blonde lady, and then Lady Bridgerton and Lady Danbury's brother. And then on top of that, there was some more Kate and Anthony stuff. And on top of that, there was this random friendship between Cressida and Eloise, which was toxic. But I was so upset, it was so rushed, and it was almost as if it was put to the side, because in that carriage scene or it was a little bit before the carriage scene, Colin basically told Penelope that he had feelings for him, and then they hooked up in the carriage. And I was like, wait, let's slow down, because in season 2, Penelope saw with her own eyes, she heard with her own ears, that Colin wasn't interested in her. He would never marry her. He legit said that to his friends or whoever he was talking to. But now, in season 3, because she changed up to her hair and she changed up her fashion style or whatever. She's wearing green now instead of bright yellows or whatever. Now all of a sudden, you're in love with her? Tell me how that works. Really tell me how that works, because I don't know. I want to see the switch between him viewing Penelope as a friend and then him viewing her as a potential life partner or romantic partner or whatever. We don't get to see that switch. On top of that, we don't get to see the reason why Penelope likes Colin or liked Colin in the first place, because she's been in love with that boy since season 1. And then in the beginning of season 3, she was like, nah, I don't really mess with you because you say you don't really mess with me. So she was giving Lord Debling a chance. But the point I'm trying to make, I'm going off tangent. The point I'm trying to make is, why did Penelope like him in the first place? There's no, we literally don't know why she even likes him, because they don't have, I'm sure they had seasons together in season 1 and season 2, but were they memorable? Obviously not, because I don't remember. They weren't impactful or whatever, because I literally don't remember. And I honestly thought that in season 3, Penelope was going to start liking somebody else and finally get over Colin, because her pining for Colin, I feel like it was overkill, and I was kind of getting tired of it, to be honest. That's just my opinion. And But yeah, I wish I would have understood why she liked him in the first place, because maybe I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, I wish there was like flashbacks. And I'm not the only person that said this. There's like TikToks and whatever of people saying they wish there was like flashbacks of the two when they were younger or whatever. Or it doesn't even have to be when they were younger. It could be like a couple years ago or whatever. And we see why Penelope likes him in the first place. Because, to be honest, I don't even know anything about Colin, so I can't even say he's likable or unlikable, because I feel like all Colin has done throughout the show is travel. And I don't know, I feel like season 3 would have been the perfect time to get to know his character, but we literally didn't. Like, the only thing that happened was like a couple episodes passed and all of a sudden he started liking Penelope. Which, on top of that, it didn't even make any sense, because bro was still hooking up and having threesomes with other girls at like the, whatever it's called, a brothel or whatever. I don't know what it's called. He was still hooking up with girls and having threesomes and whatnot. But you're in love with Penelope? Tell me how that works. I don't think that works. Mathematically, that doesn't work. So yeah, I wasn't here for Pollen or whatever. And like, going back to the scene where they hooked up in the carriage, I feel like that was way too soon. Like, you were just mad at him, and now because he said he likes you, you're hooking up? Like, no, girl. What you're supposed to do is make him prove to you that he's in love with you before you do any of those shenanigans. Okay? And then also, can we talk about, they hooked up again, but this wasn't really a hookup. It was more so like sex. But can we talk about that? Because that was something. Number one, I feel like I was interrupting something. Like, that was so intimate. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, because I don't know. I feel like sex and whatever is a major part of the show or whatever. So it's kind of expected. But I feel like it was a bit too long. Like, we could have cut that down like halfway. Cut it by half at least. Like, it was way too long. Like, we get it. But if anything, I actually thought it was very cool to see a woman with a different body type, like a body type that's different from a size 10, be in a scene like that, because it's not something that we see a lot. And I feel like sometimes you just have to, like, when it comes to like that stuff, when it comes to like representation and diversity and stuff, sometimes you just have to rip the band-aid off and just do it. Like, don't get scared, because if you keep on putting it off because you're scared of other, like, the audience's reaction or whatever, you're never gonna do it. And yeah, then a whole other group of people they're not gonna get their own reputation, which isn't fair. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. But again, that was way too long. Way too long. And I don't only want to talk about Colin and Penelope. I also kind of sort of want to talk about Cressida and Eloise. Now, there was other storylines as well, and again, I feel like they didn't need to be in this season. They could have been season 4. Now, before I talk about Eloise and Cressida, this is how I would have done it. So, season 3, I would have had Penelope and Colin's relationship, but I would have like developed it much more, like way more, so that they could have had a nice season like Kate and Anthony. And yeah, so like I would keep that in, obviously, and I would keep in Cressida and Eloise's friendship, because I thought that was an interesting storyline, and I feel like it didn't take too much away from Colin and Penelope. But the Benedict storyline, trash that, put it in season 4. And the Lady Bridgerton and Lady Danbury's brother storyline, I feel like we could have put it in season 4 as well, with Benedict and that lady. But it could have been its own season as well. But I don't know. All I know is that I did not want it in season 3. It was so random. Like, maybe she could have just met him and that would have been fine. And then that would signal to us audience members or whatever that Lady Bridgerton is ready to hop back on that horse. No, but like it would signal to us that she's ready to start, you know, dating again. Or I guess it's not dating. I guess it would be called courting. But yeah, I don't know. It did not have to be in season 3. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Eloise and Cressida. So, bro, if you hear chickens in the back, I'm sorry, because my neighbors literally have chickens. I don't know if it's picking up on the mic. Okay, so here's where I take issue with Eloise and Cressida's relationship. So, number one, the only reason that Eloise and Cressida ended up becoming friends is because of what happened between Penelope and Eloise. So last season, Penelope and Eloise, their friendship kind of ended. Well, not kind of. The friendship ended because Eloise found out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. And obviously she took issue with that because Lady Whistledown talked about her family, i.e. the Bridgertons. So yeah, she was like exposing like a bunch of their secrets and whatever, and obviously Eloise took issue with that. And I feel like that was understandable because like, why are you telling everybody my business? Like, why are you telling everybody? Like, can you imagine like you allow somebody inside your home and then they go off and like gossip about it in their column like Penelope is messy for that. Like, you're messy, girl. You're real messy. But that's besides the point. So season 3, Penelope and Eloise are no longer friends, and you know, Eloise decides to go out and find herself a new friend, and that new friend happens to be Cressida, who also happens to be a person that has bullied Penelope in the past seasons. So number 1, that was messed up. And then number 2, getting into a not relationship. It is a relationship, but I mean a friendship. But number 2, getting into a friendship with Cressida was really messed up because you know what it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of like, imagine it like this. Imagine Penelope and Eloise were in a romantic relationship. So they're in a romantic relationship. She finds out she's Lady Whistledown and then she breaks up. And then she gets into this new relationship with Cressida. So she's kind of like a rebound. You know, people get into relationships, they break up and then they find a rebound person. But then they're still hung up on their ex and they end up going back to the ex. So Eloise is still hung up on Penelope because they have a lot of history together. So they end up becoming friends again. So it's like, why did you do that? Like it's like you're using Cressida as like a placeholder or whatever. Like you're literally using her. So I thought that was messed up. Their whole relationship dynamic in of itself was like really messed up, or how the relationship came to be was really messed up. But on top of that, she was so messed up to Cressida because like Cressida was going through a hard time because her parents were like putting a timer on her marriage because they're like, all these seasons have passed and you still haven't found a husband. So if you don't find a husband this season, we're literally gonna marry you off to this old man. And I feel like Eloise didn't care enough for me, and which is kind of crazy, and based on Eloise's personality makes that even crazier because Eloise is always like, you know, Eloise is a feminist or whatever, and she's always ranting about like women's rights and whatever. But here's the chance. Cressida is about to be married off to an old man against her will, and you don't even care. Like, Cressida's choice in a partner, in a romantic partner, is being taken away from her. And to me, I think that's a feminist issue. So I feel like you should care. And let's say because it seems like she put aside the feminism or whatever in this season. But even if you put aside your feminism or whatever, that's still just an issue in of itself. Like, you guys are friends, and if you're friends, you should care that your friend is being married off to some old man where death is knocking on his doorstep. Like, that should concern you. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below what you thought of Bridgerton season 3. Bye.